afternoon. First of all, just welcome. Thank you all for being here. We're excited to hop right into this training webinar this afternoon, and looking forward to providing you guys with some quality information about the RFP cycle for 2022. So I am going to just give a brief introduction of myself, my staff, and then we'll get right on into the presentation. So for those of you who do not know me, I'm Lisa Karmacharya, and I serve as the Executive Director of the Mississippi Charter School Authorizer Board. I am beginning my 4th year of service to the charter community, which is hard for me to believe. I am a longtime Mississippi public educator, and I am a proud member of the NACSA Leaders Program. And I think most of you got a minute to just hear Jordan, at least. Jordan is our office administrator. Wave, Jordan, I don't see you, but wave if you can. And Jordan has been serving the authorizer for nearly 3 years now. And Tanya, who let you guys in, she is our grant and office support and our lead on Epicenter, which is the online portal for document submissions. And Tanya's been with the authorizer since October of 2021. Many of you on the webinar this afternoon will know Mary Perry from Professional Polish. She is our technical assistance provider, but she is unable to join us today. So I'm just going to try to take off and run with the presentation that she had ready and go from there. So we're going to jump right into the presentation this afternoon. I'm going to let Jordan lead the slideshow, and we'll walk through the deck, and at the end see if you guys have any questions. So Jordan, when you're ready. We'll pick up on slide 2.
Okay, are you guys seeing my screen?
Not yet.
Okay, let me try another screen share. Okay, can you see that now?
Yes, we see that.
Okay, great.
And I don't see it, Jordan. Okay. So for some reason, I'm not seeing your slide deck.
Okay. I'm showing. You have to make it a little bigger. Okay, and there you go. Okay, great. Just pull it over there.
Okay. All right, I needed technical assistance, so Jordan had to come help me see what I was doing here. So, all right, we're going to get started then. Welcome again to the Prospective Applicant Informational Webinar. And again, on behalf of the Authorizer Board, we are super excited to have all of you with us today. The mission of the Mississippi Charter School Authorizer Board is to authorize only high quality charter schools, and particularly those schools that are designed to expand opportunities for underserved students. So slide 3, Jordan. All right, so the purpose of today's training is to just take a look at the Mississippi Charter School Act of 2013 to get a sense of what the purpose of charter schools are in Mississippi. We'll look at the notable changes in the request for proposal. We will run through the stages of the RFP. Some of you are familiar with those stages, but we'll run through those. We will look over the milestones. We will talk about the letter of intent and what is required in that letter of intent. We'll talk about eligibility. We will refer to Epicenter, and then we will look at some resources and technical assistance. So next slide. All right, thank you. So Mississippi Code Section 372831 describes the purpose of charter schools as improving student learning, closing achievement gaps, increasing educational opportunities for students and families, allowing teachers and school leaders to have a direct voice in school operations, encouraging the use of high quality school models, providing for exceptional levels of results, and creating expanded opportunities in the public education space. MCSAB is deeply committed to this purpose and deeply committed to the purpose through community, through equity, and through the charter bargain. Next slide. So what are the notable changes then in the 2022 RFP? Well, to begin with, the letter of intent underwent only minimal changes, with some detailed board governance information now being reviewed more closely in stage 2. The application now includes a statement of preference based on Mississippi Code Section 372815. And applicants seeking to take advantage of this statement of preference should ensure evidence of your commitment clearly tracks throughout your application. So if you choose to take advantage of this statement of preference, make sure that throughout each component, the academic component, the financial component, and the organizational component, that statement of preference, that dedication to ensuring a commitment to children who are typically underserved is really tracking throughout the entire application. The stage 2 criteria, we raised the stage 2 threshold to ensure a more substantive review at stage 2, in particular as it's related to threshold 4, which will now include and require applicants to submit detailed information regarding your proposed board governance structure and board member information. And then you will note here on this slide that the narrative response has increased from 50 to 75 pages, and that will just allow applicants an opportunity to provide much more detail for the reviewers in an earlier look. And then finally, a significant change beginning in the 2022 cycle. In order to participate in a capacity interview, applicants will now have to receive an invitation. Next slide. So just a quick overview of the Call for Quality Schools process. So we talked a bit about the mandatory letter of intent, and that is simply the initial phase. The mandatory letter of intent will include such things as your proposed location of your school, the proposed name of your school, proposed grade levels that you'll serve, your school model, your mission, and proposed board members, things like that. That'll be completed on an Excel document in Epicenter. And then stage 1, the completeness check, follows the mandatory letter of intent. Stage 2, the threshold quality review findings will follow stage 1. And finally, stage 3, the independent evaluation team review will take place. Next slide. Okay, so state law lays out specific requirements for any group that plans to submit a charter school proposal. And you will note here that only nonprofit organizations can hold a charter in Mississippi, and applicants must provide evidence of U.S. citizenship along with that. Applicants who are proposing conversion schools or proposing to operate in a district that is rated A, B, or C must also include additional details that are found in the application and alluded to on this slide. Next slide. So to be eligible to submit a full proposal during the 2022 RFP cycle, potential applicants must submit that letter of intent prepared according to the instructions and the details that are noted on 7 and 8 of the slide deck and included in the Excel form that's in Epicenter. The letter of intent this year is due by 3 p.m. Central Standard Time on April the 1st of 2022, and eligibility determinations will be distributed by April the 8th. Then all eligible applicants will receive an invitation to a webinar that provides a more detailed explanation of the evaluation process, a very high-level walkthrough of the evaluation criteria, and time for applicants to ask questions. The eligible applicant webinar will be held on April the 11th, and that too will be recorded and posted to the online portal for on-demand viewing. Next slide. So the call for quality schools process, stage one. Stage one, we refer to as the completeness check. All proposals must be submitted in complete and final form by the date and that has to be submitted via the online portal we refer to as Epicenter. All eligible proposals will be reviewed for completeness at that time. And if a proposal is incomplete or incorrectly formatted, the applicant will have 48 hours to remedy issues and then resubmit their proposal. We refer to that as the remedy window, and it's important to note that this is not a time to redo your application. It's just rather a window of opportunity to make minor corrections or additions in order to proceed. Incomplete proposals at the final completeness check, including those that are only partially uploaded, will be disqualified from the application cycle. Next slide. The call for quality schools process, stage two. So during the threshold quality review, a team of expert independent evaluators will assess critical elements of each proposal against the published stage two evaluation criteria as described on this slide and in the application. Stage two evaluations will take place from June 13 through July 8th, where independent evaluators will assess those critical elements of each proposal against the criteria in 5 to 7 different identified areas. During this particular stage, this is when threshold 4, the board governance and personnel, will be addressed in detail to ensure that applicants meet the threshold standard regarding board capacity, including avoiding conflicts of interest. Stage two findings will be distributed on July the 15th. Next slide. So stage three, during stage three, the teams of independent evaluators will simply evaluate each proposal against the published criteria, as well as discuss their findings based on the written materials that have been submitted. Next slide. So the call for quality schools process, the capacity interview, which I alluded to earlier, has changed. And as noted earlier, that our cycle now includes an invitation only for eligible applicants to participate. So capacity interviews will be held August the 15th through the 19th, when the independent evaluation teams will conduct in-person capacity interviews for invited applicant teams. Now, interviews will be held only on those days, so eligible applicants are requested to keep all dates open on their calendar. Next slide. Okay. All right, components of the application. So this slide includes a list of the components that are included in the application. Note here again that the proposal page limit has increased from 50 to 75. And then I want to reference in particular on this slide the attachments. Throughout the proposal, specific documents are requested in addition to narrative answers, and attachments may not contain additional narrative unless that's specified. And a comprehensive list of the attachments are provided in the instructions and throughout the application. Next slide. Okay, specific formatting. Applicants have to submit proposals through the electronic platform, Epicenter, and must use the templates that are noted here on this slide and included in the application. The portfolio summary template, which is an Excel document, is not included here, and it only applies to existing school applicants. So if you are already operating a school, then you will fill out the application for existing operators, and you'll have to complete the summary template as well as a few other documents. And one thing I want to point out here, it is very, very, very important to review all of your elements of your proposal for completeness and accuracy before you submit. Next slide. So here is are the milestones, and these are available on the website and included in the application. I think Jordan's going to try to click into the milestones and let us just take a peek at those real quickly so you can get a sense of what they look like. For those of you who have completed and gone through the application cycle before, you'll note this is very similar, but I will point out the areas that have changed just for reference. So let me slide this over a little bit so I can see you guys better. All right, so we're here at the Prospective Applicant informational webinar, and then we will hopefully launch the cycle on March 14th when the board will hopefully approve everything. We'll be ready to launch the applications on the 14th. And then you can see the deadlines. There's your deadline for the letter of intent. I've already referenced that. Your eligibility determination information that you'll receive from us. And then for those of you that are eligible, you'll be invited to the application orientation webinar also I referenced earlier. Then you see in stage one, it looks very similar to the stage one completeness check from before. You'll see the remedy window is referenced in there, the 48-hour time for you to just make minor adjustments to your application before resubmitting. And then in stage two, the threshold quality review, Jordan, if you'll slide on down just a bit, you'll see here we have the public hearings and public comment period also scheduled July 18th through August 5th, and then the invitations to the capacity interviews. That is new, and so you'll see specifically after the independent evaluation and the public hearing or public comment period, applicants that are meeting or very close to meeting the adequate standards will be invited to schedule a capacity interview at that time. And the rest of the milestone document is very similar to before, and MCSAB should take action on its final vote during the September board meeting, which that date is to be determined. All right, thank you, Jordan. And let me get back to the slide. Next slide then, the applicant code of conduct. So charter school applicants have a responsibility to respect and uphold the integrity of the charter school proposal process. And specifically, charter school applicants shall not initiate or attempt to initiate any activity with a charter authorizer board member, with the exception at a public hearing. They shall not initiate or attempt to initiate any activity with a member of the independent evaluation team. And charter school applicants who are found to be in violation of any of these requirements will be deemed ineligible for consideration of the proposal process. I would also point out here that all charter school proposal materials that are submitted to MCSAB do become public records. Okay, next slide. All right, for eligible applicants, the initial support for setup and access to Epicenter will come from the MCSAB office. And once you have been set up as a user, you'll just simply follow the directions that are outlined on this slide, and then you'll be able to access applicant training resources through Epicenter. I will say they have updated that section, and there is a lot of good information in their technical assistance section of the platform. Okay, slide 18, next slide. So for reminders, please keep in mind that your application is a professional document. The quality of the document that you submit should reflect the quality of the school that you propose to open. So be sure to follow directions in the appropriate RFP. If you're a new school, use the new school application. If you're an existing school, use the existing school application. Respond to all prompts. Complete and submit all attachments. Be sure to meet all of your date and time deadlines. That is, I can't say that enough. You have to meet your deadlines. Those are incredibly critical to the entire process. Be sure to adhere to specifications, and unless otherwise directed, submit all your materials through the online portal. Remember that grammar, spelling, formatting will all make an impression on the evaluator, and evaluation teams are better able to navigate an application that's well organized and effectively edited, so they can really focus their energy on reviewing the content of the application. All right, next slide. Okay, so finally, although MCSAB does not endorse the purchase of vendor products or services, you may be able to locate, in addition to the free resources and technical assistance that we provide, you may be able to find additional resources, products, services through others, such as Board on Track, Embark, New Schools for Mississippi, and Schoolwork. So I would encourage you to take a peek at each one of those websites. In particular, you can check out our Charter School Support Toolkit. There are videos and resources within the Charter School Support Toolkit that reference applicants and governance. And so I would encourage you to take a look at those. And then finally, you'll have professional polish to help carry you through as well. And last slide will be just our contact information. So in closing, a few reminders here. Please watch and rewatch this webinar with your entire application team. Continue to refer back to the specifics that are outlined and detailed in the RFP, and then do not hesitate to reach out to Ms. Perry for technical assistance. This presentation will be sent to you for you to access at your convenience. Encourage you to begin your application early and review your documents for accuracy before submitting. And just a final note, we are super excited about our future partners in this work, and we wish all of you a successful application cycle. So thank you again for joining us today. If you have questions right now, I'm happy to entertain any questions you might have.
Will you send us the link to this training, or will it be posted on the website?
Yes, ma'am, we will send you the link.
Thank you.
Other questions?
Can you share a little bit more about the letter of intent, please?
Sure. What, do you have a specific question? Who am I talking to? I see some faces, but not everybody.
This is Jennifer Crosby. My face is not shown.
Well, Jennifer, okay. Since I don't see you, but yeah, do you have a specific question about the letter of intent, or?
Yeah. You were saying within that document, there should be the proposed location listed, the name, articles of incorporation, and that's where I lost you at. I didn't get a chance to write everything else down.
Yeah. So it's an Excel document, and it's in Epicenter, and it's kind of a fill in the blank, a little chart. I don't know if Jordan could even pull one up if she has one, but you'll fill in like the proposed location for your school. So what district do you propose to locate your school in? Do you propose it to locate in the Jackson area or in the Delta somewhere? Then are you going to propose a school that serves only elementary, or a K-8 or a high school, 9 through 12? What type of model are you going to propose? Are you going to propose a Montessori model? Are you going to propose a career tech model? Are you going to propose a STEM model? Are you going to propose a model that looks at serving students with disabilities? A variety of different innovative models, which is what we'll be looking for as well. So you'll include those things, your proposed board members, your proposed founding governing board members, and I'm trying to do this from memory.
I'm trying to access that document.
And let's see what else is in there. Maybe your initial staff is included on that document, but just basic information like that.
Now, are we given access to Epicenter after March 14th, or?
After you've been determined eligible.
Okay.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. With the letter of intent, yes, we will give you access to that to complete the letter of intent. Yes, I misunderstood your
Okay,
question.
great.
Yep. And then I see Jordan has it kind of pulled up here.
Where can this document here be found at?
This is on the website.
Okay,
So you can access the RFP on the website, and inside the RFP, there should be a reference to the letter of intent. And if not, we will ensure a separate document is on the website and available for you to look at.
okay, thank you.
Sure. Yep, you can see here. So there's your articles of incorporation, your 501c3. All of this information was included on that slide. Proof of U.S. citizenship, so forth and so on.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, other questions? Hey, Ms. Lucas.
Yes, I didn't see anything on the website about gender-only schools being prohibited. Is there any stipulation on having male-only schools or female-only schools? Okay.
No, in fact, I think it's specifically outlined in the law that that there is an exception for schools who propose to do a model like that. It's allowable.
Thank you very much.
Other questions? Oh, good questions, y'all. Anybody else have a question, a burning question? Can't hear. Is Ms.
Ma'am,
Lu-
you're muted. Miss Lucas, you're muted.
Miss Jackie Lucas, were you trying to ask a question?
I thought, the question. I thought I heard us say that you have to have the staff listed in your proposal. Yeah.
Did you, Miss Jackie, did you have a question?
Yes.
Okay,
Does
go
this-
ahead.
Does the staff have to be listed on the letter of intent? Or is that optional?
I think that for the people that you do know, Jordan, can you pull that back up real quick? I think there is a section for staffing. When you know, we understand that you won't have everything when you submit your letter of intent. You know, that we totally understand that, but as much information as you can provide, and certainly the required information will have to be included. So for example, your, proposed leadership team, proposed school campus, so forth and so on. But yes, on down, Ms. Lucas. So if you don't have all of those, understood, right? If you do, the more you do, the better. But if you slide on down, Jordan, just a bit, the requirements there for your 501c3B, your IRS, incorporation, all of those details, that we'll have to have all of that. Evidence of U.S. citizenship and so forth.
All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, great questions. Any other questions? Well, it is good to see some familiar faces. I echo what Jordan said. It's really good to see some of you back again. Really nice to see some familiar names. I guess I don't see all the familiar faces, but I do see familiar names. So I'm glad to see you guys are interested again in going through the process. I am encouraged by the participation, and looking forward to a really exciting 2022 call for quality schools cycle for the authorizer board. So thank you again for being here, and we wish you the very best.
One more question.
Yes, ma'am.
To go to the epicenter, the previous login information, or will we get new login information?
You know, that's a really good question. And I think you probably will have the same login information, but you may have to open up permissions. So Tanya is going to be our guru, our epicenter guru, so she can help us figure out that question and go in and let you know.
All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right, well, we're excited again about the opportunities for expanding charters throughout the state of Mississippi. So looking forward to seeing some really quality applications and exciting, innovative school models.